back. Weren't those wonderful bloom tubes that Russ produced the last couple of weeks? I thought it was a very nice tour of this space that we're in right now, and the moderator Jack giving some insight into what's going to be going on. And there'll be more news about that hopefully soon. We're in a little bit of a hiatus due to contractor availability, and how many people have experienced that sort of thing when you're working on your homes, where you get all ready to go and then suddenly you're not in the line. So we're working on that. Don't be alarmed. Things are going to happen. It's just that that's taking a bit longer than we anticipated. And of course, that's something they always used to tell us too. If you're doing home projects, they always take a lot longer than you imagine. And I've certainly experienced that firsthand. So it's going to happen, and we're just in that midst. And I'm glad Jack gave that tour last week, and there may be some updates in the future. The other thing was that little animated bit that Russ created that was very cute and sweet, and isn't he a good singer? So we're very blessed by that, and my goodness, isn't that cute? I appreciate it very much and thought it was very clever and very creative. So thanks to Russ for being faithful in those ways and for being so creative in our midst. I came back last week. It was a little bit of a hard week with, as you noted, most likely on Friday in the, in our prayer aspects, where there were 3 deaths announced among members of our and friends of our congregation, with Dave Verdery passing away suddenly at home, and Marty Johnson's sister passing away, and Stephen Lewis's husband, Walt Lawrence, passing away. Stephen and Walt are in the brochure that we have. They're right there in front of the group picture. It's very, very, just so touched when we have a situation where that sort of the cloud of witnesses goes to eternity in a group, and that can be tough. And when you're in a pastoral responsibility, you connect with all of that. As individuals, we may not, but that's why we put things like that in Bloom Notes. And one of the things I would like to say is that that's an opportunity for us to bathe people in love. And that's one of our callings as a church congregation, as a beloved community, is to bathe people in love. And so that's why we publish, an address for condolences, because these are times when people are feeling very vulnerable and at a loss, and they very much appreciate the outreach. So, sending cards is a wonderful thing to do, or letters. And then another thing to do is, wait a month or two and then send one again, because many times people get, a flurry of activity early on in the grief process, but then later on they are, feel like they're all alone. Nobody remembers, their loss. And the thing for us to do is to let people know we remember and we love you. And so that's why, I at times will encourage people to send a second card sometime in the future. And of course, my adage always, if you think of somebody, give them a call or drop a note or send an email, something like that. Any of these things. Many times a card or an email or a text are as effective as an actual phone call, because it's just a matter of somebody knowing that you're thinking about them. So I appreciate that we're good about doing that, but I just wanted to offer that. Think of it as bathing people in love when we do that sort of thing in response to their times of need. That's a part of our ministry and an essential aspect of our ministry. Today's the first day of autumn when we're shooting this here in the Bloom office, and we are anticipating a season that is not going to be exactly according to the normal way it used to be 3-4 years ago. We're finding our way through, adjusting and moving and weaving and bobbing as we need to do in the midst of COVID. As Mike and I were traveling and in other churches the last 2 Sundays, one in Walker, Minnesota and one in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, we found that that's exactly what our brothers and sisters, our siblings in the United Church of Christ are doing all across, and we know that's happening in other denominations as well. So I just let you know that we're not in this alone, and we're finding our way through. We had a wonderful time last Sunday afternoon where several of us went and saw the movie Gossamer Folds, which is a line from a poem or a phrase that comes from a line in a poem that you learn about in the movie. It was a very sweet movie, very uplifting, very heartwarming, and very enlightening in the kinds of things that go on in complex family situations and in neighborhoods. Well, guess what? If you missed it last Sunday, it is going to be repeated again this Sunday at 2:45 at the Palm Springs Cultural Center, what many of us here in Palm Springs know as the Camelot Theaters. It's in theater number 1. There's plenty of room to socially distance. The popcorn is good and available to you, and it's a 90-minute movie, and it's very rewarding to see. And I encourage those who weren't able to do it last Sunday and have interest to go ahead and have a look this Sunday coming up. If somebody needs wants to participate in using the passes that we have, as noted in Bloom Notes, please let Rich Flickling know about that. And if somebody wants to go and there's a financial hardship relating to it, please let me know about that as well. I don't want anybody to have to stay home that would like to see the movie. And we don't want finances to be a barrier to anything that Bloom sponsors or that Bloom offers as an event. So that's what's kind of going on in our corner of the world right now in this early days of autumn. There's more news that's going to be coming up, exciting news in the future, and at appropriate times that'll come through. I'm looking forward to the Officers and Ministry Coordinators Retreat coming up this Saturday. You probably, maybe even when you're reading about this, will be meeting, so please keep us in your prayers as we're doing a revitalizing of persons, as well as connecting with one another as leaders in this your church, as we try to continue to live out our vision, mission, and values in this community and around the globe. We hope you'll be with us on Sunday by Facebook Live or in person at the Demuth Community Center. Remember that we continue to observe masking and fist bumps, that sort of thing, and know that we're on Facebook Live or on YouTube as that gets uploaded in a day or so following worship. Really thankful for that faithfulness going on the last couple of weeks, and also noticed in those other churches they were doing the very same thing, had cameras like we do, and they were webcasting as well. So be with us on Sunday in any way that you can, and as always, please keep us in your prayers.